Hello again, everyone. Several people have asked me if I can think of any more ways to use patterned paper. I've done a couple of videos. The last couple of videos I've made, I've been using up bits of patterned paper that I couldn't quite throw away, couldn't quite give away. So there's a new one today, and I'm just going to use one piece of patterned paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is, as before, line an envelope. And you're thinking to yourself, what on earth is she going to use for the card? She's going to use most of that piece of paper to line the envelope. So, watch on, people. Let's see what happens. First thing I'm going to do, place my piece of paper just inside the gummed part of the envelope flap. That's where its position's going to be, with a ruler and a pencil. Just draw a line just inside the envelope edge on the patterned paper. At the bottom as well, just inside, and here, just inside that envelope line. Okay, now I'm going to cut that off. Look, I made a mark on the envelope. I think I'm going to have to get my rubber out, my eraser, and remove it. So I'm going to cut these pieces off. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is to put some adhesive on the, I don't know which side I'm going to use actually. Perhaps I'll use this side. That's kind of bold, isn't it? Let's use this side. So I'm going to put the adhesive on this side. Right. Up here and down there. Okay. Now I made the mistake before of not adding a little bit of glue stick, and when I was trying to position this in the envelope, it kind of stuck to the envelope before I was ready. So a little bit of glue stick will just give me that bit of manoeuvrability. So let's just pop this into the envelope and get it into position. There we are. And someone else suggested to me that I should score this with a bone folder. I don't actually feel that I need to, because the paper is not, it's not card. It's good quality paper, but it's not that hard. So just with your fingers and your thumbs, just feel for the fold, and there you've got it. This one is a pointed flap, so I didn't need to round the edge of that. So there's my envelope all ready, waiting for a card. And I always think, if you open an envelope, you open it and you spot inside that it's got, you know, a lovely lining, you've got the anticipation of, oh my Lord, what is coming? This must be fabulous, because the envelope is gorgeous. So here's all I'm left with. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to cut, this is what size? A 3/4 inch circle. A 3/4 inch circle from each piece. 1, 2, and 3. Right, there's my 3 circles. And what I'm going to do with them is I am going to make them into a seal, or seals. Now, if I put this is a little piece of silicone, which is obviously heat resistant. And when they hot, I'm going to use hot glue. I've got my glue gun here. Whoops. And I'm going to put hot glue onto it. But when I start to put it on, it's going to, this is very light, it's going to move around. So I'm just going to put a little glue stick onto this silicone, just to kind of hold these things in place while I put the glue on. What I'm going to do once the glue is on is use this seal stamp. There's 2 ends. One's got an envelope on with a little heart, and the other one's just plain, and I'm going to use just the plain end because we want to see through the glue and see this pattern. So let's see how we go. Before I start, I'm just going to put a little hand sanitizer on the end of this, just to help, you know, so it doesn't stick to the glue. Out you come. Oops. Just a little on the end like that. Okay, that should be ready. Right, here we go. I'm going to put some hot glue onto, that was one push, and there's a bit more. I've searched everywhere this morning for my, you know, spare hot glue sticks, and I just can't find them. I found some, but they're not really suitable for this because they're kind of, I'll show you, they're kind of yellowy. I don't know if you can see it there, but you see they're sort of yellowy. You can get them that are absolutely clear white. So I think that is what I was, you know, I've got some somewhere, but I must have had a tidy up one day and don't know what I did with them. So let's just onto the next one, put some more glue onto this one. Couple of little squeezes. Now I need to take this off here and squeeze it onto the next one. Okay, now onto the third. Okay, now because this is clear glue, you can see that the paper shows through and the glue stick is melted a bit with this one. Right, let me just get there's all sorts of, you know, remedies for where things go a bit pear-shaped, so perhaps need to leave that just a moment. Okay, I've got a remedy for that presently, so let's just get another pokey tool a minute just to get that one off. Okay, let's try this one. Hopefully it hasn't got too hard. No, we're still okay. Okay, just going to leave that one just for a moment to set. That is a beauty. This one is a little bit funny shaped, but just wait a moment and I'll show you what I'm going to do about that. Okay, let's turn this round while that is just setting, because glue takes longer to set than wax. If you're using wax, it sets really easily. So there, I can take that off. That's a really pretty one, that one. Now, what I'm going to do with this one is use my heat tool, because this looks a little bit funny shaped where I was having a struggle to get that off. So here's my heat tool, and I'm just going to warm it, and that'll smooth out that glue. Because it's lost some of its shape, I'm actually going to use the stamp one more time and just stamp it down. There we go. This one, it's got a few little stray bits. I'm going to cut those off, and then I'm going to use my heat gun on this as well. As I say, hot glue, more people probably have than wax seals. But if you don't have one of these stamps, you can use a button that is on a shank. I will show you. This is my box of seals. But if you have a little, these are my buttons. If you have a little button like this, that's on a shank, maybe a flat one. So what I do is use a pair of tweezers to hold the button like this, and then press it into the hot glue. Okay, let's just see how we're doing here. This feels quite warm. The heat has transferred from the glue. There we go. I'll just give that just a touch of heat. Right, that is my 3 seals. So to make a card, what I've done is this. Taken my card panel with a penny black embossing die. This one just leaves this pattern, a stitched pattern. So that's going to be the front of my card. These are going to be placed on here, but before I do, I want to edge them with some gilding wax. This is Pebeo or PBO, don't know how you say it, Empire Gold gilding wax. So this one was coolest, I think. So we'll just go around the edge with a few whiskers, but I can just cut those off with a pair of scissors. Let's get some gilding wax on this. Yes, I'm going to have to give this a shave just here. There we are, just some tiny whiskers. Okay. Any that you don't like, if you like whiskers on it, you know, that's absolutely fine. But it's best to wait until the glue is really, really cool. Here you can see I've got a little drop of gilding wax where it shouldn't be. So I'm just going to put some essential oil onto a Q-tip, cotton bud, or whatever you care to call them. I'm just going to take that off. Here I have my 3 seals, or whatever they are you care to call them, ready to be put onto the card. I thought I would just sort of randomly have them down this stitched panel, and I want a little hello on here too. So I have a little stamp. This one is from this set. It doesn't say on it what it is. I wish what does that say? That says something. It's just a number, I think. It's so tiny, I can't see it. Anyway, I don't know what it is. It says hello, and I'm going to stamp it onto a little bit of scrap and cut it out. Here's a little bit of scrap. I'll just go over it with a little bit of anti-static. And stamp with Versamark, because I want a gold sentiment as well as gold on those seals. Right, a little bit of embossing powder. This is Cosmic Shimmer. The silver one, I noticed every time I opened it, a cascade of powder came out. So what I did, I found a die that was about the same size as the inside of the lid, just cut a piece of, it was actually non-stick paper that was one of the things that went between rolls of foam tape. Cut it out, popped it in, glued it in, and I haven't had the problem since, so that's a bit of luck. Right, I'm just going to heat set this. Okay, now a little die to cut this out. I have one just here. So I'll cut out this die. I'll have to do it from both ends, one at a time. Each end, should I say. And then I'll have the die cut to fit the sentiment. Okay. Part way and back. take off the die, turn around the sentiment, pop it back on the other end, and stick down again. Now, to just assemble this, I am going to stick the panel directly onto the card. The reason being, these are really quite thick anyway, and I don't want the card to be so thick that you're paying, you know, huge amounts of excess postage because it's too fat. So let's just pop this on. Always like to open the card before I stick the panels on, because the number of times I've stuck them upside down or on the back or something, you know, it's silly really. Now these I'm going to adhere onto here. I think actually I will use, because there's paper on the back, I can use this kind of glue. If I was using seals or something like that, I would tend to use a glue dot, but there's some glue, so we'll just sort of randomly place these down this panel. Okay, don't know whether to put them in this. No, I'm not going to put them all facing the same way. There's the last one. And I'm going to put this on foam tape because they are quite proud. They stick up a fair way. So I'll just put those onto a bit of foam tape so that it's in keeping with the rest. Here we go. So there is another way of using patterned paper. Line an envelope and simply use a little of the paper to make some seals. One whole piece just about used up. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you so much for all those thumbs up. And I do love reading your comments. If you also comment on Facebook, Facebook in its wisdom has it set so that only the most relevant, as they call them, comments are shown. And if I don't remember to do all comments, some of them don't appear. So, you know, just mention it on YouTube if you haven't had an acknowledgement on Facebook. So there we go. Another card. Have a play. Thanks so much for watching.